Welcome to another Cooking with Job session. Today we're going to be making heart-healthy salmon because, as you know, salmon has omega-3s. What are omega-3s? They are healthy fats. Now, the secret to a good salmon is what? The seasoning, right? We all know that. Basic knowledge. Salt and pepper, that's really all you need. Anything else, I mean, you can do whatever. Garlic, chili powder, I don't know. If we don't put chili powder, that would be nasty. I don't know. Anyway, we got our fillet of salmon. Beautiful, beautiful little piece. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to flip it on a cutting board, skin side down. Why skin side down? Well, because we're going to cut into this. Why are we going to cut into this? So the seasoning can get deep. Now, what you got to do is, now I will note that salmon skin is very tough to cut through. So make little incisions if you can. It's very hard. One. Remember, don't bruise the fish now. Okay. Now the fish is warm, so it wants to fall apart. So what do you do if it wants to fall apart? Well, don't let it fall apart. Now, let's see. Okay. Now, for salmon, what you do is, you can eat it raw if you want. Salmon, you cook 90% on the skin and then 10% on the flesh. Because if you cook on the flesh 90%, it's going to burn. Because salmon is, not the skin, the flesh of salmon is very, it's brittle and it breaks and it falls apart. It's not like a hamburger where it's held together. Salmon likes to fall apart on you. So, I know this fillet looks a little nasty, but it's frozen, it's not fresh, but it's still going to be very good for our health. Now, first step, get a knob of butter. Make sure your pan is ready to go, and the secret to the pan, how you know when it's hot and ready, is usually it will, if the temperature's high enough, you'll see like little steam coming off. Usually you can't, but if you see like little smoke, just a bit coming off, that means that the previous grease and stuff left on even after you clean it, when it starts smoking, it means it's ready to go. So, generous knob into the pan. Rub that around. And be quite generous with the butter. Not too much, not too little, and let that just melt itself into the pan. And while that's melting, let's season. So sea salt is usually best. Big granules of salt is usually what you want. This is not sea salt, this is kosher. So we're going to take a little bit of salt, pinch, and now you want to spread it onto the salmon, and you want a lot because, well, this stuff will dissolve. Now we let that butter melt. This comes out very quickly, this pepper, and that's all you need. Now, because butter naturally has a lot of what? A lot of salt. Mop anything up that we spilled, and we're gonna actually move this butter around a little more. But before that, you gotta have a fork. Salmon will naturally firm up as it's cooking. And we put in a generous amount of butter. You don't need a lot because salmon naturally is very fatty. It tastes like it has a lot of butter in it already naturally. So now while that's cooking a little, I'm going to put up my stuff. I move it around quite frequently to keep it from sticking. But I do recommend the number one thing that you should use is olive oil. Olive oil with anything, steak, fish, chicken, whatever, is what you want to cook with. Sometimes, yeah, you throw in butter a lot. But use olive oil is the primary and butter for flavor. Butter's for flavor, and it's a non-stick. Now, you will start to notice that the pan is turning brown from the fatty oils coming from the salmon. So when it starts to grease, when the grease starts to pick up, you'll know it's a little too high. So turn the temperature down a bit. And an easy way that you can tell when salmon is starting to get done is inside it starts to turn white at the very bottom and starts to work its way up to the top. Now, again, a tad bit more salt. And it is a fabulous taste. There's nothing better than good old salmon. Alright, now we're going to flip it. Turn the heat down. Now what is happening is the fish is almost done. The brown is a mixture of the butter that has rendered and the fish oil. 90% fish oil. Butter can burn is one thing you got to know. This is mostly fish residue. The oils that are coming out of the fish during the cooking process. So we turn that off. This, if you want a good sear, you know what a sear is, the browning or the kind of the toasted look on food. If you want a good sear, press it down. Now what we're going to do to increase the flavor profile is do something called base, which you pick up the liquid in a spoon, pour it on top. This adds a little bit more flavor. It a little bit more juiciness. And that right there is done. Now, if I'm correct, it should be a little brown on the top. And it should be done. Let's find out. Wait. Yep, perfect. We got the nice little sear on the top of the fish. Now we all know what we got to do when we're done. It should fall apart just like this. And raw fish, any type of raw fish is perfectly okay. A lot of people don't like eating raw fish. A lot of people like it cooked, but I don't mind either way. Eating does not get much better than that. You'll notice it's not all the way cooked. It's got a little pink inside. In fact, let me show you a little more of that. Pink all throughout. It's not fully cooked. If this was a steak, that'd be medium. That'd be rare or medium rare. So this is a medium rare fillet, even though fish really don't have medium well done. I mean, you can do that, but and to clean a pan that's like this, all buttery and sticky and greasy, just come over here. Thin layer first of water. Don't pour it down the drain because grease will clog. Instead, walk over here, dump it right in the trash, and now you can go ahead and clean it off because you don't want grease. You clog up this up, and like that one place where they found used condoms in the drain. What was that place? I don't know. That is nasty. Who would do that? Now. All right.